Better. Outkick the coverage with Clay Travis. 6:30 until 9, only on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio.
I mentioned at the start of the program, talk a little bit about high school football. Johnson City Press has come out with their predictions, not necessarily a tab, but their predictions in today's paper. And I think Doug Fritz making his selections. I think it's worthy of looking at. Doug Fritz picks in 1-6A, Science Hill to tie with Farragut and Hardin Valley with 5-1 records. Dobbins Bennett going through all the changes, 3-3, followed by Bearden, Jeff County, and Morristown West. He doesn't think they'll win a game in Region 1-6A. 5A, this isn't a surprise. What with Larkins calling the signals in his senior year, still hasn't made his college commitment. But David Crockett, an interesting thing, David Crockett adjusted his stats. Did you see this? Where he will now be, he's got about 2,000 yards, I think it is, to become the all-time leading passer in terms of yards in the state of Tennessee. It's a little more than 2,000, but they adjusted it actually so that the record would be legit and that no one could go back to his freshman season and say, oh, this, here, this, they found like a play got some passing yards that should have been nullified because of a penalty, that sort of thing. Daniel Boone also 5-1. Tennessee High. I'm kind of intrigued by that they thought with Crockett and Boone having the star players that they thought that Tennessee High could hang with them. He's got them all at 5-1. That's very convenient, actually. Cherokee 3-3's got them after that. Do we have a lot of listeners in Rogersville? Probably not. Morristown East 2-4. Cott County 1-5. The poor Volunteer Falcons. 0-6, anyway. There have been times where Volunteer's been good, just not nearly enough of them. He's got Greenville to win 1-4A. That's going out on a limb. Who else would you pick? Going 6-0. Elizabeth and number 2. That's going out on a limb. Number 3, the going out of business sale that is Sullivan South, 4-2. That's going out on a limb. It's kind of easy to pick those things. He's got, Sullivan Central doesn't think he's going to win. They're going to win. I don't either. In 1-4A, as that school really is in a going out of business sale before they merge with South and Sullivan North, Sullivan South as well, to become Westview next year. By the way, Sullivan East, they got them winning, the Patriots winning 2 games. You never know what the Patriots are going to do, Liable to go like 8-2 as they are 0-10, but he thinks more. Well, they're in the same. Yeah, I don't think the Patriots are going to start knocking off Greenville this year. Okay, I'll give you that. So, but here's the interesting thing: the real contested race. See, here in the Tri-Cities, and really the teams that I have traditionally sort of been the expert on, Marky Billson, Tri-City Sports Now. I believe in these guys. All right here, ETSU. And Unicoi County. Who knows more about them than me, right? Well, I've said that I don't necessarily think that the Tennessee Volunteers season is going to be all that interesting this year. I guess can they get finally a winning record? But as we said, if they've got the 14th best college football program of all time, can they have a winning record? It's kind of a small potatoes storyline. Interesting that he had him going to the Belt Bowl, Caleb Calhoun of All for Tennessee, and are now archived. You can see it on our Facebook page, 1420 WEMB Sports Radio, and watch Tri-City Sports Now. If you can't get it between 12 and 2, or you miss an interview, or something like that, you can go back and watch the podcast, if you will, on Facebook. I tweeted out our interview with Ricky Rockman on my Twitter page. It's just at Marky Billson, MarkyBillson, if you're so inclined. I've also got Instagram, which has some historical videos as well here. Regardless. Class 3A. The race comes down once again to Unicoi County and Johnson County. But this time, the Johnson City Press picks the Blue Devils to go 5-0. Cody Lewis, That's the, I mean, they've been on the cusp for 2 years, growing, getting better. Yeah, it doesn't help to lose best wide receiver last year, Brett Strother, but still. Unicoi County has got them winning all the games against Johnson County, Chucky Doak, West Green, Claiborne, and North Green. So Johnson County, he says they're still the team to beat because, they've won the last couple of years, but this may finally be Unicoi County's year to win 1-3A, something they have not done, winning a district title since the 80s. Hampton is the choice in 1-2A, followed by South Green. Remember, Scotty Varan's Rebels, who you'll hear here on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio or jetbroadcasting.live. They will be broadcasting that game from South Green this Friday. I'll be behind the mic with Andy Slagle, the Trooper. Remember he used to call in here? Talk about his semi-pro team. I'll be doing that. 4-0 Hampton, he's got them going in 1-2A, South Green, Happy Valley coming up. Sullivan North and the going out of business sale 1-3, and then Cosby, which scrummaged Unicoi County over the weekend. They're 0-4. That's the projections, I don't say. Cloudland to win 1-1A. Did you really think that anybody else would? It's got Unaka number 2. I think that's probably a little high. Idea there is that they came close to league wins last year. Yeah, but they're the only intergender team in the Tri-Cities and all this. So no, I don't mean to knock that at all, but certainly you've got, Unaka, as bad as they've been the worst program around. And let's face that, and to pick them second ahead of Hancock County and Jellicoe, admittedly those two schools not great shakes either, but that's saying something. So that is a bit out on a limb. So there you go. Season will begin with Science Hill and Elizabethton, and that's probably become, in Northeast Tennessee, the number one rivalry. I mean, we, broadcast the Unicoi County games, and although we are, how should we say this? It's not like we're unhappy that the studio is in Irwin. We may be a little unhappy that the tower is, because then it doesn't quite get to Kingsport and Bristol as strongly as we'd like. Here on WEMB. I mean, I'll give you that. Tower is usually where they license the stations to, though, so, But we do want to be a little bit more than just the Irwin station, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's not, because you want to be able to expand in your entire listening area and such. And so I'm a bit hesitant because we get to Johnson City, we get to Elizabeth, and a signal stronger there than Kingsport. But let's face it, the Science Hill-Dobbins-Bennett football rivalry has just not been that much. As much as I'd like to say Unicoi County and Johnson County, that, you're talking about Irwin, population 5,000 and change. Mountain City, population a little less than 3,000. I mean, it's just not going to be what Johnson City against Kingsport is, but I'm thinking from competitive value, maybe. Elizabethton Science Hill, that might be the one that you really look at. Elizabethton knocks off Science Hill, they can start thinking, could this be finally the year we knock off Greenville? Could it? I'm thinking that might, especially from a competitive standpoint. So there you go. But those are the picks right there for high school football this season from the Johnson City Press. Like I said, I mean, I might say that my gut tells me Unaka is a little bit high at number 2. South Green, which, advanced far in the state playoffs last year, number 2 behind Hampton, maybe a little bit. That's kind of interesting, Unicoi County over Johnson County. I do see that Unicoi County does return a lot of people, including a quarterback, running back combo, and Brett Thompson and Cody Lewis, the 2,000-yard rusher from last year, runs a 4.446. Averaged more than 10 yards a carry last year, did Cody Lewis, getting some interest from the likes of, say, Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech, for instance, has been really scouting the Unicoi County players for whatever reason. But, yeah, the other notes, I don't know. I found it kind of surprising that Tennessee High was listed there with Boone and Crockett in 1-5A. I know they're the traditional power, but do they have the star power? That's the question that I ask when looking at those predictions. Say what you will. Another quick story to give you concerning, I mentioned this is a totally different story. We're talking Major League Baseball now, but I wanted to give you this. The Braves, with their week's worth of games ahead of the Washington Nationals in the standings. Of course, I've long said that I think the Braves are in first place to stay, but regardless, they picked up a player, and he's a speedster, and I'm kind of curious about that. They've gotten Billy Hamilton. That's a great name for a speedster if you know 19th century baseball, but he's 28 years old, in his prime, has won 5 Gold Gloves, or at least he's been a finalist for 5 Gold Gloves, forgive me, a switch hitter, but he is only hitting .211 with 18 steals in 93 games for the Kansas City Royals, who therefore placed him on waivers, thinking, do we really want to pay veteran money for a 28-year-old .211 hitter? And they said no, and the Braves said, you know, we'll pick him up. He might be able to fill a role for us. He was with the Reds for 6 years. Then he signed with the Royals as a free agent for this year. That's another reason why they don't quite like him. A .242 lifetime hitter, not that good, but he does have almost 300 stolen bases, so possibly somebody who could help as a pinch runner. Don't discount that in the pennant drive.